Episode 4 Twisted Karma and His Last Bow.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
And thus we get our spiel before the start of the case. Welcome everyone back to Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Kazuma regaining his memory. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. A hotel? Ooh, fancy. 1st of November, 10:24 a.m. Great Waterloo Hotel Foyer. Foyer, whatever you want to call it. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Sada-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer of the professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows, then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia and that he's regained his memory now. Ah, there she is. Who? Who? Oh! It's Mikotoba and Jigoku. Oh, father! Hello, Susato, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Gosh darn. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrived with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? Why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. God, I don't know how to differentiate these two man's voices. They give off such a similar vibe, it's weird. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo guilty. Ah. Oh! You're... Ryunosuke, I don't think you were in that outfit. back when you were in Japan, last time I checked. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I don't even remember if that was my voice for him. Whatever. You know what? It's whatever. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Jigoku. How are you? It's been a long time.
Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty.
Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? There was no laughing at the time.
So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Yujin? Of course, Judge Jigoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikatoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Oh, I knew you were jealous. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on the study tour. Sorry, I was laughing because the way he just, like, turned around. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. It's so funny just seeing him casually carrying a gavel around with him. Oh, yes now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. Oh, that was 8 days ago, damn. About what happened 10 years ago. Of that tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about that? Oh damn, we're actually... You know what? Now, you already know what we're doing right off the bat here. Professor Mikatoba, I wonder, could I show you something? Why do you seem so nervous? I suppose it's because I'm a student showing something to a professor. That's always quite nerve-wracking. Well, I'm sorry to perturb you in that way, but anyway, I'm afraid I have nothing useful to say about that, really. Damn. Darn. Well, this obviously stands out, but I can't even examine it. Look at that, it's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. Wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Did you know that over the channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? What? How? How many times taller than the chimney at Yume's Sokin hot springs is that? And if it's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, you never know. Chandelier. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah, it's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. No surprise there. Cart. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Oh, right, the desk. Yeah, I definitely wasn't trying to examine anything else. Nope. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, so do you think that that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Yes, I'm sure it must be. Love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. True, London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Moshimosh? Nope. The plant. Nope, okay. I thought the plant would be something cool, but I suppose not. Anything else? No? What about over here? Over here! Look at those cases just left on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. Ah, so it's a trap designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Oh, hi there. I haven't seen you in a while. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes, but I'm not wearing my jet black clothes. Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. You never know. You never know when a ninja might be laying about, ready for a sneak attack. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. And I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you. So we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris. We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. Yeah, I hope nothing goes wrong at said important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Kazuma's father, I suppose. Why the hell did he turn into a frickin' psychopath? There must have been a reason for it, right? Like, he obviously wasn't like that before he moved over. I would not think. Speaking of which... The professor. The killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy. Was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he? That's right. Genshin Asogi. He plays Genshin Impact. He's actually the creator of said game. Genshin Impact? You knew, I presume, Father. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth. And he was executed with little ado.
To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, no, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there.
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
That sounds likely. I was gonna say that if you weren't. I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Wow. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London working as the apprentice of Lord Von Zykes.
What? What? That's news to us.
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then.
Oh shit. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong and tried to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
When we first came across him again in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. Wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong for us to go and visit him? That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugene here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The big three, you might say. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh, no more talk of graves. Very often there's no one willing to deal with dead bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Cadane, I think his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. It was a witness at the secret hearing, and I tried to speak in his defense, but Oh, I was a witness at the secret hearing. But you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after that trial we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Or feel bad for almost everyone involved in this. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. I've certainly... Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Wow, lightning. Susato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Huh. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her, as you obviously have been.
Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yes, Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Oh, one other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Of course, what can I do for you?
Well, the thing is,
I'm so sorry that took so long.
Miss Susato.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck, it's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think, given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course. Aww. Even though they're not wearing those clothes.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then. We were interrupted before.
Professor Mikotobo was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street, then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yes. Let's go. Kaede. Getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Alright. No, let's do it now. Get it out the way. Let's go ask about Kazuma.
Oh, and also Von Zykes is here.
Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord.
What's Lord Von Zykes doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Oh god, they've both seen us.
My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me.
Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. Even though I'm actually not. Why is everyone here colorblind? From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. I think that's Kazuma's job.
Now then, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord, I'm right here.
Why are you here?
Kill me now.
Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature.
If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way on your face seem to suggest otherwise.
Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Von Zykes. I will attend at once. See you later, my Nipponese friend. I am off.
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know,
but I haven't done anything. Have I? I don't think I've done anything wrong. No, I don't think you have either.
These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Well, considering I'm holding the cane with it, I think it's doing fine enough.
So Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. Of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You need to concern yourself with it any further.
That'd be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Von Zykes is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? He's been back for not even a single case, and now he's gone again. He has perished a second time. This is a joke. Please don't have it actually happen.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo was 2 million.
I'll be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium and the exhibition in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparation and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations, omedetou.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between police and organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire. in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. It's the same as ever, I see. The passion of his is quite something.
You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Let's talk about it. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. Yikes. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say. Unintended repercussions of our trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but I still won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Oh, that's good to see. Let's hear about Kazuma. About Lord Von Zeyck's apprentice.
Ah yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Von Zeyck's in the first place?
It came about 3 months ago.
Oh, he's answering.
An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my, so he stowed away to get here?
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact that he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Von Zeyck's. That way I could keep an eye on him.
But then, why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Von Zeyck's with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice.
Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask?
He's proving to be a great help to Lord Von Zeyck's. I have high hopes for his future.
Wow. By the way, do you know where he's gone?
No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh.
I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean.
Genshin Asogi.
Yeah. A lot of important stuff to talk about. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... Oh yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor's case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand.
Correct. However, It has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed, anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it?
It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Damn. Going right out and saying it. Alright. Guess there's not much else to do here. Can we get any funny stuff from talking to the suits of armor? These very European suits of armor are still glaring at each other across the carpet, I see. In a way, they feel like guardians of the Lord Chief Justice's office.
I suppose. They're rather like the lion dogs that guard shrines in Japan, aren't they?
Aren't they a bit too human to be called lion dogs?
Did you know that it's a dream of mine to keep 2 cats one day?
I feel as though we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, don't you? Maybe. Perhaps. Anyways, let's go back to Sholmes' suite. Let's go see how everyone's doing back at home. Oh, that's Sogi's mask! He's here? Oh. It's not a Sogi. It's the Bohemian kid, for some god's forsaken reason. I mean, not that I dislike that character. What was that?
A man screaming in the most unflattering way.
Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
It was not. The accented cry did not make me... What the fuck do I do here?
I don't do it anymore.
Mon ami. Stops this graceful display, God. Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. Ginger spotted.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink.
Oh.
No, not in prison. It's dark and damp and I don't like it.
Buff, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared.
But you are always scared of the dark.
Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next dairy night.
I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm a freaking little kid. I'm a little bitch. Well, tough. We'll finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Guinea. Have fun.
What the hell is going on here?
Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective.
Then what the hell's that mask sitting there for?
Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Runo.
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Tadaima. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Ah, yes, of course.
Dr. John H. Wilson. We still need to tell her that. Is that going to be like the final case that we tell her? So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. Why the fuck are you a... Why is your hair red, you Ronald McDonald looking motherfucker? But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face?
Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today? I like the fact that you can go straight to the consultant office instead of going here. Like, imagine being Susato and Ryunosuke and you just walk past all this craziness in the Sholmes' suite.
In that case, let us sit and drink now.
I'm kind of curious what he would look like in his other outfit with this hair.
For I am in fact expecting a guest later today.
You know what? I'm gonna get the elephant. I mean, there's two elephants in this room right now. There's your hair color and there's this. The masked Cosmo, or when he was assigned to Lord von Zixes' apprentice. When he cast it aside after a trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? No, that's just what best friends do. They tell each other that type of shit. Maya is always drawn to this big metal chest that Mr. Sholmes and Iris uses as a coffee table. Isn't it where Iris keeps her very important papers? It is. So you'd think that they'd treat it with more care, really. But only the other day I saw Mr. Sholmes kick it. Oh no! I suppose something must have been frustrating him. What a shame to mistreat the furniture, though. Was it damaged? The chest was fine, but Mr. Sholmes is doubled up on the floor for almost 10 minutes. Oh dear, that is a painful tale. That it is. We'll examine the rest of the stuff next time. For now, let's get at least one part of conversations out of the way. Mr. Sholmes? Who were the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions?
But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes?
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally.
You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Consummately, that's the word I was looking for. Aha, I have it, a bungler, that's the word.
It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good. Started making trouble in our neighborhood. I wonder what the men did. The greatest problem. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain this?
I like that the frickin', like, you see the thing right behind it, the back of his head. It kind of looks like just like it's making his hair longer. The shoe or whatever, the clown shoe or whatever.
Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance?
Darwinism. Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops.
What? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans. It has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent.
Why do I bother? But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel's only the other day?
Pshaw, a large sum. One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you.
Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least.
And what was the answer?
Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Is it your hair? Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what it is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my appearance that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think.
In the end? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. Hell, from when I entered the room. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. And this is kind of a big one, so I think we're going to leave that for next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Next time, we'll talk with Sholmes and we'll examine the rest of this room. Maybe we'll even go up to the consultant office and examine some stuff in there for the funny stuff. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, matane.